Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a couple of pairs that I wanted to showcase with you and go over some trades again with a very simple philosophy, right? I wanted to keep it as simple and as easy as possible. I will walk you through those trades, and then I'll have an advanced entry that I wanted to also talk about a little bit about. So let's get right to it. What do we have here? We have UJ on the screen, and of course this is my London time frame. Now with London time frame, again, that's where your immediate volatility comes in. When the market's opening, and this is where I'm sitting really hawkish-eyed to the charts, to the candlesticks, what is going to happen and when. What I noticed here was when I looked at this, there was a number of candles that they were high wicks on both sides, something that I'm not interested in because it's not really giving me a convincing telltale sign of, okay, the market is ready to move in that direction. I mean, it could shift from here downward, it could shift from in the other direction, but this right here, I'm pretty confident that this is a nice good momentum candle. So what do? I drew my box around this candle, just this one right here, just as such, and then I monitor in this location what is going on, right? Where do I get an entry? And my entries are what? The first step is liquidation, and the second step is entry. Where is my liquidation? And I always say a liquidation is a strong high or a strong low that was responsible for breaking a structural point. So if a point, high or low, is responsible for breaking a structural fractal high or low, then that point becomes strong liquidity point. And if that gets swept, then that for me, it meets the criteria. So in this point in time, when I was looking at it, this low became my sweep, right? Because this low was responsible for breaking all these structural highs right here, and then eventually came down and got swept. And then it gave a nice little reaction after that. So I was ready to put my buy stop order at the top of this candle. Stop loss right at the bottom of this. Let me get this out of the way. Right at the bottom of this, and look at that. That was a nice healthy trade all the way to the top, right? A 5R trade. Easy winnings. Trade management is something that I talk about, but I leave it to the audience really because there's tons of trade management styles. So I want to focus on entries. So that was one. Let's go into GU, and there were a couple of trades here as well. I've already marked it. Again, this was start of my session, right? So when I walk in, what do I want? I want a liquidity sweep. So where do I get my liquidity sweep? This high, right? So this high was responsible for breaking this structural low. So if I'm following my structure, my fractal structure, the lines are falling downwards. It's a heavy bearish momentum candle, right? So look at that. I want to get involved into the next candle here. Heavy bearish momentum candle. This high broke this fractal low and got swept. At this point in time, what is it that I'm intending to do? I will place my short at the bottom of this candle with a stop loss a little at the covering the top. Maybe give it some buffer. 3.5 pips or maybe 4 pips, and that's your trade. That's a massive trade. Look at that. That's almost a 10-hour trade, right? Are you going to hold it to 10-hour? Are you going to take partials? Or would you have been taken out as a break even because it goes back and breaks you out, right? So that is trade management. That comes to you. The next step. Right here, another massive momentum candle. And you can see I'm focusing on the momentum candles. Where do I see my right here liquidity points? Yeah, this high. So let me zoom this in for you. Why is that a liquidity point? This high broke this low. This is a fractal high, right? So it swept the high of the previous candle, and then it had a nice bearish close, and it broke the structural low here. So for me, once this gets swept, it's a liquidity point for me. Then I come in short. Bang, stop order right there. Maybe you would have been stopped out over here depending on your broker, the spreads. And look at that. Nice, good trade. Wouldn't you say that? How much is that? 4 or 5R, right? And the last one, the bonus entry that I was talking about. And the market's, by the way, is still running here. But the bonus entry is this. Now, a nice momentum candle, I definitely want to get involved, but there is no structural point for me to call a liquidity. So when I have no structural point, the next thing that I look at is how is the structure forming within this candle, and the structure gives me a new supply zone or a new demand zone, then I wait. I want to see which one of the suppliers or demand wins. The battle between the supply and the demand, who wins? And in this case, when price started falling downwards as such, so price is going upwards, I'll mark this zone. Price went up, came down, went up again. At this point in time, I am still in my first candle. I don't move into my next candle at this point, right? The 16th candle. So for me, this is all just being formed. I'm waiting for this candle to finish. Once it finishes at 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, this is where it finishes. This is when the new candle starts right there at 16. There. This point right here, 16, sorry. This is where the new candle starts, at this point right here. Yeah, so all of this has already been done. So I'm seeing price come into this. I see a reaction. I see that reaction fail, and then it kills the bottom of this demand zone, right? So this demand zone right here also is gone, right? So once this demand zone is gone and then it's pushing up like this is my first telltale signs that the price is ready to move down, because if not, this demand zone should have held. This zone should not have broken the low of this. This should not have broken the low of the demand zone, I'm sorry. So this for me is the first telltale signs that the suppliers are overpowering the demand. What happens next? This is another zone that I have marked out, right? The high and the following candle. Price aggressively moves in there, and then it moves and retraces back. At this point in time, I'm thinking, if this reaction is strong, right, then the price should fall. If this reaction is strong, then the price should continue and take me out, right? This high should not hold, right? So what I'm waiting for is when the price starts reacting from this, I place a stop order at this point. When I place the stop order at this point, let's say the next candle, the following candle, demand is strong and it holds and it goes in the opposite direction, you never get tagged in, right? Because this high breaks. If this high breaks, then this supply is potentially weak and the whole thing goes away. Now, if the price does not break the high, which means that this reaction was weak, there was not enough orders for it to drive this price higher, then it should break the low of this. And the low of this is broken by a stop order tagging me in. Once I'm tagged in, that means that this supply was strong and this low broke. Otherwise, this low should not have broken, right? So the way I'm placing my bets is that this is a strong and this is a strong. I'm just waiting to see which one stays and which one succumbs, right? In this case, because my bias is bearish of the previous 15-minute candle, such a strong bearish bias, I wanted to place my bets on a stop order on the short side. If this low goes, I'm in, meaning I'm hoping or I'm betting my demand stays, supply stays. If supply is strong, it should tag me in. And that's exactly what happened. I got into this trade and it was a nice, easy 2-hour win. All right, guys. So this is a little bit of an advanced entry. I would suggest if you're new to this, just look at your fractal, understand your fractal highs and lows, liquidity points, and then start placing your orders as stop orders when that liquidity is taken. Take care, you all. See ya.